Welcome, listeners, to the Privacy Report. Today, we're going to talk about a device you probably ignore, but it's silently serving as maybe the single weakest point in your entire home network. I mean, we spend so much time and effort securing our phones, encrypting our laptops, but what about that little box in the corner routing all of our sensitive traffic?
That's a forgotten device is your home router. And the truth is, it's absolutely the strategic weak link in modern digital security. The complacency is, well, it's immense. Most people just plug it in, maybe change the Wi-Fi name, and then completely forget it exists until the internet goes down.
Right.
And that neglect, combined with the complexity of its software, it just creates this perfect storm for exploitation.
And the stakes are so much higher now, aren't they? This isn't just about, like, someone stealing your Wi-Fi anymore.
Oh, absolutely not. The home network is now the center of our lives. It's your remote office, it's your bank, it's your doctor's office through telehealth. Because that router sits right at the edge, the gateway between your private network and the chaos of the public internet, it's become a prime target for criminals and even state actors. If that gateway falls, everything behind it is exposed.
That sets the stage perfectly. Before we dive into how these attacks actually work and what you can do, just a quick reminder for everyone listening, you can subscribe to our email newsletter for updates and takeaways at theprivacyreport.net. Okay, so let's unpack this. Why are routers, specifically, such a big target? I mean, I have so many other smart devices at home. Why not my TV?
It's their position. It's what's so fascinating about them. They are the central joke point. You know, if an attacker gets into your laptop, they have your laptop.
Right, just that one device.
Exactly. But if they compromise the router, they gain a surveillance point over the entire household network all at once.
It's the ultimate pivot point then.
Precisely. And this whole problem is just made worse by these systemic failures. The big issues are almost no maintenance, outdated internal parts, and a really critical industry problem, vendor abandonment.
Vendor abandonment? You mean they just stop supporting the hardware?
Yeah. Many manufacturers only push out security updates for maybe 18 to 24 months. But people keep their routers for 5-6 years. That gap is where the danger lives.
But wait, if these vulnerabilities are so well known, why isn't the industry just fixing them? Is this a user problem or something more fundamental?
It's both, but I'd say it's mainly a business flaw. Router companies run on super thin margins. It's expensive to keep patching software for 5 years, and for a long time, the market rewarded speed and range, not security.
So it's a disposable hardware mindset.
It is. And that's what attackers rely on. We see reports all the time of routers being pulled into these huge botnets because they're running known vulnerabilities from years ago that just never got patched. And this is especially true with the routers your ISP gives you.
Yeah, the ISP ones.
They're often locked down, poorly configured, and get updates, well, almost never. It just dramatically expands the attack surface.
So if I'm a user trying to figure out my own risk, how does an attack like this actually happen? What are the entry points they're looking for?
That's a great question. It's like, what's on the attacker's menu? They're looking for a few overlapping flaws. The obvious one is weak default passwords, of course.
Admin, password, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But the technical flaws are way more critical. Things like unencrypted management portals, insecure remote access settings, and the big one, UPnP, Universal Plug and Play.
Okay, let's pause on UPnP for a second. A lot of people might know it as the thing that makes their PlayStation or their smart speaker just work. Why is it such a flaw?
That is the classic definition of convenience killing security. UPnP is designed to automatically punch holes in your router's firewall without you having to do anything.
So it just opens ports on its own?
Instantly. An internal device can say, hey, router, I need external access on this port, open it up, and the router just does it. So if just one device on your network gets compromised, say your smart camera, that device can then use UPnP to open up any port it wants. And that exposes your entire internal network to the outside world. It creates that gaping hole we're talking about.
That automation is terrifying.
Ugh.
So following that chain, what happens after an attacker finds one of these holes and sees the devices running old firmware?
Well, we can trace the whole automated attack flow pretty clearly. It usually happens in steps. Step 1 is reconnaissance. Attackers are constantly scanning huge parts of the internet looking for what we call fingerprintable firmware.
Meaning they can tell exactly what model you have?
Exactly what model, what version, and that lets them know the exact published vulnerability that will work on your device. Step 2, they probe your management ports. They look for port 80, 443, 8880. If those are open to the internet, it means your router's login page is exposed, which it should never, ever be.
Okay.
Step 3 is getting in. They'll try default credentials because so many people will never change them, or they'll just use that exploit they found in step 1. And step 4, they modify the router. Once they're in, they might install malware, start logging all your activity, or hijack your DNS settings.
DNS hijacking. That's where things get really bad for privacy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you explain why that's so effective?
Oh, it's catastrophic. DNS is basically the phone book of the internet. You type a website name, your router asks a DNS server for the IP address.
Right.
If an attacker controls your router's DNS setting, they control that phone book. They can make it so when you type your bank's address, your router sends you to their fake phishing site instead, and the URL in your browser looks perfectly normal.
That's insidious.
And then, step 5, they pivot deeper. The attacker uses your compromised router, which is now inside your network, to scan all your other devices for more weaknesses.
Okay, now that we understand how bad this is, let's make this actionable. What are the, say, 3 most critical things listeners need to fix today?
Right. Let's focus on the big wins. First, that outdated firmware. You have to update it. Known vulnerabilities are the attacker's best friend. Second, fix those default passwords. That's just basic hygiene. And third, and this one is maybe the most important right now, is insecure remote access. A lot of routers, especially from ISPs, have remote management turned on by default.
So someone could log into my router from anywhere in the world.
That's right. Unless you explicitly need it and know how to secure it, you have to turn it off immediately. It is one of the most abused attack vectors out there.
You mentioned checking firmware every month or two. Realistically, is that something we can expect the average person to do? Shouldn't the device just handle it?
That's a fair point. And it really gets at the friction between security best practices and, real life. For most people, manual updates are a point of failure.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember to do that.
And you shouldn't have to. We advocate for it if you have an older device, but the real solution if you're buying a new router is to pick one that has reliable automatic updates. It just removes the human from the loop.
And what about the Wi-Fi encryption itself? A lot of us just see WPA2 and think, okay, that's fine.
Assuming WPA2 is fine is getting risky. It has known weaknesses. If your router supports it, you really need to switch to WPA3. It offers much, much better security, especially against password cracking, even if you have a weaker password. It should be the standard now.
So if my router does get hacked, and I'm, say, someone who works from home with sensitive data, what's the absolute worst case scenario for my privacy?
The worst case is total invisible surveillance. A compromised router is a hostile spy sitting right on the line between your home and the world. It can intercept your traffic, log what you type, and see every single piece of unencrypted data.
So corporate espionage, financial theft, all of that is on the table.
Absolutely. It's the perfect vantage point to compromise your entire digital life.
Okay, so replacing old hardware seems pretty essential. If the listener is going shopping now, what should they be looking for? It sounds like vendor support is the key.
That is the single most important thing to understand. You aren't just buying a piece of hardware, you're buying a security service commitment from that company. If they're only promising updates for 2 years, that hardware is basically obsolete the day you buy it. So look for a few things. First, vendor transparency. Do they publish a clear, multi-year update policy? Second, mandatory support for WPA3. Third, confirmed automatic updates. And finally, look for proof of independent security testing.
Can you give us a few examples of brands that do this well?
Certainly, companies that treat their network gear like server equipment are usually a good bet. Synology, for instance, with their RT6600 AX. It's known for great Wi-Fi, but more importantly for its really solid software platform and regular timely updates.
Okay.
Then you have something like the Ubiquiti Unified Dream Router. It's a bit more for the tech-savvy user, but it has incredibly strong security defaults and a very reliable update system. And for the consumer side, a router like the Asus RT-AX88U is a good example. They're known for long-term firmware support, and they bundle in security tools.
So really the main takeaway here is that you have to take ownership of this device. You can't just set it and forget it.
Exactly. Your home router is the digital gateway to your entire life, your work, your health, your finances. The security of that one, single box, dictates the security of everything else. It's the highest leverage point for your security. Or, conversely, for catastrophic failure. Think about that leverage the next time you see a firmware update notification, and think about ignoring it.
A very provocative thought to end on. Thank you for tuning in to the Privacy Report. If you found this useful, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps us continue bringing you these kinds of in-depth reports. And as always, a quick disclaimer. This episode was made with the assistance of AI.